before we start notes. There's one more note. Let's do a quick review. The functions we're using, we'll just use the same functions as we had yesterday. And this is not on your notes, okay? This is an extra, so squeeze it in somewhere or just watch. Could you do f of g of -2? Could you evaluate that?
Yeah.
What does that mean? What do I do first? Kyle?
Put the -2 in for x at g.
So I come to the g function, and I put -2 in for the x. So g of -2 will be -2 squared, which is 4. Then, so this is 4. So then I take the 4 and plug it into f. So f of 4 is 6. Okay, remember that? All right, let's have you do one on your own. Same functions. Do g of h of -1. Do g of h of -1. See if we can all get the right answer. This question's not in your notes. Okay, I'm just throwing a couple extras up here. Who got an answer you're willing to share? Les? 25? Les got 25. Anybody get anything different than 25?
49.
49?
Got
49?
Oh, yeah, my bad.
That's on you?
Yeah.
All right, you see like 49?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we're gonna start by plugging -1 into h, and when we put in -1, we actually get 2 plus 5, which is 7. Then we have to take that 7 and put it into g, so that'll be 49. All right, we have office hours tomorrow, so if you aren't getting this, you need to get in here, right, to get that straight. Okay, well, there's one more problem. We're on page 11, and there's one problem at the top of the page, and it is this basic same idea, except there's no number. So we did one of these yesterday. Does anybody remember what happened yesterday when we did this? These can be a little bit confusing. So we start right here, just like you started here and here, you start right there, but there's no evaluating, there's no number. We know that f of x is x plus 2. We know that. Now, when you plug in that first number, you get an answer, and then the answer is supposed to be plugged into the next function, right? Well, this is our answer. So that is what is getting plugged into h. So we're going to take out the x in h, function h, and plug in f of x, plug in that answer right there. So we're going to have -2 times x plus 2 plus 5. So -2x minus 4 plus 5. -2x plus 1. That's the answer to the question. Okay? You know, it's a little bit tricky. All right, we have one more topic to talk about, and that's when we'll be done with this part. We'll have a test over 1-1 to 1-4, and here we go. From the implicit functions. If I ask you to graph that on your calculator, you couldn't do it. Can somebody tell me why that isn't graphable on my calculator? Think about how you put things in. Owen?
No.
If I'm gonna graph something on my calculator, right? First thing I have to do is put in the equation, right? And where do I put that in? Where do I put in the equation? At y equals. Okay? Now, does it say y squared equals? No, it says y equals. So if I'm gonna graph this on my calculator, the first thing I'm gonna have to do is get y by itself so that it's y equals. So I'll move the x squared to the other side, and then what do you think I'll do?
Square root.
Square root. Now, here's the tricky part. We talked about this before. When you square root, you're going to get the square root of 4 minus x squared, and you're going to get the negative square root of 4 minus x squared. Because when you square root both sides, remember the whole plus or minus thing? Necessary, totally necessary, gotta have it.
Do you want us to write out like 2 different problems?
Yes, I do. Because, Gabby, we are going to be putting these into our calculator and sketching them. Okay? So we need 2 separate equations in order to put them into our calculator. So she is right. No plus or minus. I'm gonna have 2 separate equations. And on the test, I will have 2 separate answer blanks to remind you, oh yeah, I need 2 there. They're exactly the same. There's no difference between these, except this one has a negative in front of it. Okay? So let's get out our calculators. Turn them on and see they work. So this is gonna be the quiz. We're gonna calculator quiz. You either got it or you don't. Is it working? One is functional. Here's gone. Here's working. Yep. Here's working. You're working. You're working. Everybody's working. Oh my gosh, am I gonna have perfect paper?
No.
Gannon Knowles. Oh Lord, child. We can't keep, is yours working?
Mhm.
I think I'm fine.
You're leaving from me, huh? Oh no, because it's important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to put that in.
Do you think Miss Ford needs her calculator at home?
No.
No. Actually, I do. I have one at home in school.
I know. I was gonna say that.
And I have one for cars, so there's one in the car, there's one in the Of course there's one in my car, you never know when you're gonna need a calculator.
Calculate the gas mileage.
Alright, so guys, we're gonna do this more regularly. This mess around, you guys don't pay your fines, so I'm gonna have to write detentions for that. Now, this is gonna be points, let's
Detention.
get a calculator. You have today and tomorrow to check them out from me, then that cart's going downstairs, I'm tired of walking around it. So if you need a calculator, and you don't wanna buy one of your own, then you need to come see me after school, okay? And we'll get one checked out, all right? And if your name is up there on the board, get it taken care of, because at the end of the quarter, it's infractions, okay? And that's dumb. Okay, all right, let's type these in. Here we go, we're gonna type these in. So, go to y equals, first of all, I can't remember when we graphed last, I don't know when you graphed last, so go ahead and hit zoom 6. Just hit zoom 6. If anything nothing showed up on your graph, go ahead and press y equals and clear it out. So y equals right here and clear it out, okay? Now, type in square root 4 minus x squared. And remember where the x comes from. That's your variable button. Where my index finger is pointing, that's where you get your x. And then negative. And yesterday, oh my gosh, we had a kid having all kinds of issues. Negative is right here, guys. That's the negative. Don't be using the subtraction. This is the negative. So negative square root 4 minus x squared. Now, before you hit graph, look at your screen because I want you to watch what happens. So be looking at your screen and hit graph. Okay? Watch. What happened? It should have graphed this, and then it graphed this. So this was the top half, and this was the bottom half. Now, when you put it together, you get a circle. Now you're looking at yours, and you're thinking, well, it's kind of like that, but it looks more like an oval. Does yours look more like an oval? Hit zoom 5. Now does it look more like a circle? So let's just talk about that for a second. When they made the calculator, and I don't know why they did this, I'm sure there's some reason, but the screen is a rectangle. That's a rectangle shape. So everything you graph gets stretched this way just because that's the way the screen is. So when you do zoom 5, you are zoom squaring. You are squaring the screen. So they're showing you when you zoom 5 what this picture really looks like in a squared up format. Okay? You don't need to, I mean, that's extra information for you, but this really is a circle. Now, is a circle a function?
No.
No. That's why my calculator won't graph it. However, is the top half a function? So my calculator will graph that. Is the bottom half a function? Yep. So if I have to graph something that isn't a function, like a circle, then I graph it in 2 pieces. And those 2 pieces are called the implicit functions. These are the implicit functions. And they're very easy to find. You just solve for y. All right, so let's look at the next one. We're going to solve for y. So what's the first thing we're going to do? Well, yeah. So we're going to move the 2x over. And then we're going to square root. So what are we going to write down in the answer blank? Y equals what? Square root 8 minus 2x. Or y equals negative square root 8 minus 2x. These are the implicit functions. That's all there is to it. There they are. Now let's see what shape this is. So we'll go back to y equals. We'll clear out what we have in there and put in these new ones. So square root 8 minus 2x. Negative square root 8 minus 2x. Now it graphed in 2 pieces, hopefully. What'd you end up with? What shape? It's a parabola, but it's opening sideways. So is that a function? No, but the top half is a function and the bottom half is a function. That's these guys right here. These are the implicit functions.
So when we write down our answer, we're just writing like,
This.
okay.
Yep, this is your answer right here in the box.
Okay, and you don't want us to draw like with the graph.
I mean, you can for your own personal knowledge, but no, that won't be part of that. All right, we good over here?
Mm-hmm.
All right, try the next one on your own. See if you can find the implicit functions for that equation. And when you're done, look up here and see if you've got what I've got. Remember, the two functions are carbon copies of each other. Nothing changes except one has a negative in front.
Do you need to grab it?
Well, you might have to on the test or quiz, so we're gonna practice now. No, in terms of just finding the implicit functions, no, they're right here. We're gonna graph it for practice, so let's see. Any question about the equations? Are we good here? All right, let's see what kind of shape we get this time. Shouldn't be the same thing.
I know the same. It's like the same as
Oh, when you said same thing, you meant as the first one? Yeah. Yep. I'm not sure why the pieces don't join up. They should. There's some kind of glitch in the calculator. I'm not sure how to adjust it. Mine don't join. Do yours join? I have a top piece and a bottom piece, but they're not hooked. They're supposed to be hooked.
I think it's
it
because the dash
connects
is
to
not.
the dash.
Oh, is that why it is?
Mine, like mine.
Is it? Anyway, you got a shape similar to the first one? All right, one more, and then we'll be done with this exercise. Any question about finding the implicit functions? You feel like you can do that easily enough? All right, here we go. This particular equation can be cleaned up a little bit, but leaving it like that is perfectly okay. This one might be a little tougher to type in now. Think about it. Let's see what you come up with. Let's see if you can figure it out.
So do you not want us to divide the 16 by the -4?
Well, remember, you have to divide both of these things by -4. So you're gonna have a fraction either way. So I'm just gonna leave it as one fraction instead of two. You could do it, absolutely. But, get something?
I got like 2 lines.
Roadway.
I got 2 lines that are like, that I added.
In it, like you're taking an X?
No,
No?
they're like just 2 straight lines. One's like under the x-axis and one is above the x-axis. I never said it was F the bar, like, so. I didn't even know I looked at my class, that was funny.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. Oh, there, finally. Okay. Finally. I can't figure out what is going on.
Like that was called, I can't even lie.
Okay, so I had to do a little window adjustment, but what we get is this. This is what you should get. So if you're not seeing that, go to window, and I made X min and max negative 40 and 40, and Y negative 10 and 10. So try that. Go to window. Window is right here. Window. And negative 40 to 40 for the X min and max. And then Y min and max. And then hit graph, and you should be able to see a sideways parabola. So if you have put in your equations and you have this window and you're still not seeing that, then you probably have typed in your equations wrong. All right, and I don't want to spend any more time on that, but I'll be happy to help you with it.
Ask about the fraction part.
In the
We
morning.
just did the division sign in the fraction, right?
Yes, division or fraction. Okay, so now I'm gonna hand out your practice test. And we're gonna go ahead and start reviewing. It might, which is not a big deal. Oh no, there's 2. You got one too?
We gotta do our 600,
All right, now,
time right.
in my quest to save paper. Okay, you wanna come in tomorrow morning, I'll help you with it. I didn't even take any more class time on that. If you got all the other ones, you're not that. All right, did everybody get a practice? Yes. Okay, now, I need you to get out another sheet of paper, a sheet of notebook paper. If you don't have any notebook paper, then there's some right over here on this bottom shelf. There's some paper, notebook paper. But I tried to save paper, and so I crammed up, this is it. This is practice test 1. This is all crammed on. I did the same thing with practice test 2, but then practice test 3, I went ahead and spaced out like a regular test. So you will notice that there isn't that much material. There are basically 5 kinds of problems. The first kind of problem on this practice test is find the domain. You guys have never done that before? Find the domain over and over and over again. So, what do we think about when it says find the domain? Oh my goodness.
X can't equal 0 in the reciprocal, or
The denominator cannot equal 0. Right? So the first thing I'm gonna do is I am going to look at any denominator I have. Here are my 4 domain problems. What's the test look like?
Same as the practice test.
So I'm gonna look at my 4 domain problems, and you just told me if you have a denominator, it can't be 0. So for problem B, x cannot be 2. Right? And then, whoa, D has a denominator. So for problem D, x cannot be negative 6. Now, I haven't done any final answers yet. I'm just going through and working through my rules. All right, what's the other rule? Whatever is under the radical has to be greater than or equal to 0. So there's a radical. X minus 3 has to be bigger than or equal to 0. So x has to be bigger than or equal to 3. There's a radical. X plus 1 is bigger than or equal to 0. X has to be bigger than or equal to negative 1. That's it, right? Now, have I taken care of every radical
Yeah.
and every denominator? So now I'm ready to write my final answer. So for problem A, x has to be bigger than or equal to 3, so that looks like this, doesn't it? So that's A. B, I could do the same thing with this, but I have that issue too. So I told you just leave it like that. That's easier. Some of you try to put it together and that's noble, but you do it wrong and then you end up missing a point. So let's just leave it like this. 2-part. How about this one? I don't have anything written down for that one. What's that domain?
Negative
Negative
infinity.
infinity to infinity, because I don't have anything written down. There's no radical and no denominator. And that one you can just leave just like that. If you want to write this as an interval, you can, but you don't have to. It's everything except negative 6. So it would look like that as an interval. I am perfectly good with that right there. Okay, we all right with that? Okay. All right, let's look at number 2. Oh, this is what we just talked about. Number 2. We just learned this a couple minutes ago, so maybe you've forgotten already, I don't know. How do we find the implicit functions? Get y by itself.
Oh,
Divide by
that's easy.
negative 1.
Well, so first I'll move that x over. And then I have to divide by negative 1. So I'm gonna have y squared equals negative 9 plus x squared. And then I will
Root.
and write 2 separate answers. Y equals the square root of negative 9 plus x squared. And y equals the negative square root of negative 9 plus x squared. simplify those in any way. You can't swear it out. When you put plus in there, you can't do anything. Don't even try, that's it. Keep it easy, whatever you get, that's what you get. So this is the answer to question number 2. Alright? Alright, number 3. We're finding vertical asymptotes, horizontal asymptotes, angles. We'll do those two first, that's A and B. Alright, so vertical, horizontal, and holes. Now, I'm not gonna have you graph them on the test, but if it helps you, you can always, on your own test paper, do a sketch. You know, where's my horizontal asymptote? Where's my vertical asymptote? All right, does this guy, this is question A, does he have any holes? No, because how do you get holes?
If everything cancels.
It
cancels out.
right? Can't do that, so this is gonna be none. Now, tell me about vertical and horizontal asymptotes. This is an easy one. Vertical asymptote comes from the
You
denominator.
have to box the.
So x cannot be
That'd be
-1. Because what happens if x is -1? Denominator 0, and that's not
Not possible.
allowed. Okay? Now what about my horizontal
You
asymptote?
have to have a full box of.
I'm gonna box this in right here. Right? And so my horizontal asymptote is y equals 3. And I told you this before, those need to be equations. If you just put 3, you're missing half credit. So if you've forgotten if horizontal is x equals or y equals, draw it. This is a horizontal line, right? And it crosses the y-axis. So it's a y equals line. Okay? All right, I'm gonna stop there because I wanna get your last test back to you. So I want you to have a few minutes to look that over. So you'll pick up here tomorrow. Your 1 point